the tribalistic cultures of MMORPG. I'm not sub to Madseason. I got you, bro. Here we go. Ding, 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 ding. God, that looks...
flashback to a time before computers and the internet were common in most households. To obtain information, you went to the library. To watch your favorite show, you had to find it on the TV guide.
Oh my god, Blockbuster!
And to interact with
Blockbuster
friends,
was so
you had
cool.
to pick up the phone from Fallout. What is this crap? How did people live like this? You can't even watch porn on it.
Huh?
Don't be lonely. Talk live to your special lady tonight.
Wait, what? They had this type of stuff back then?
International long-distance rate supply as low as 50 cents.
Dude, you know, I was in Bean's stream yesterday, and this is what Bean does, by the way. This is what Bean does. Bean was saying that he's a level 2 Gruner, and level 1 is so boring that I was like, dude, what in the world is he talking about? Like, anyway, sorry, I'm getting sidetracked.
Right then. Eventually,
Bean's
technology
wild.
advanced far enough that consumers didn't need a garage to store 5 megabytes of data.
Oh my
As the personal
goodness.
computer had started to become more and more standard in households.
Dude, hard drives are so expensive back then too. I was surprised when they made like these SSD, like tiny ones for like $1. I was like, what the fuck?
industries would be revolutionized, including
even
of course,
USB drives.
The most important of all, video games. Multiplayer games in particular would see a revolution, the likes of which they had never seen before, as instead of handing
moly, that
the
guy was
controller to a friend beside you, you could, on demand, at any time, play against a stranger
Oh my
from across the
goodness.
world. This would not only change existing genres, but also create entirely new ones, one of the biggest being, the most intense yet, the MMORPG, where players could come together from all over the world to form virtual online communities, and especially ever since the breakthrough release of World of Warcraft in 2004, people love them. Some people really love them, actually. Like, if MMOs were a person, they would want to wear their skin levels of obsession.
Put the fucking lotion in the basket!
It is a
What
pretty
is that?
intense genre of game. They are very time consuming. They can be quite expensive, and people, as a result, become quite invested into them, so much so that their love for a particular game can manifest itself into disdain for another, or even the transgressors who dare play them.
Dude, that was definitely me in high school. The guy with the hood on, tribalism. I used to argue so much with other kids saying WoW's the best.
Another episode of MMO Theory, a series where we analyze the MMORPG industry and the people who play them. And today we're gonna analyze MMO tribalism, what it looks like, why it happens, and its effect on fan bases, the industry at large, and
This thread is full of desperate WoW fanboys with empty friend lists who are trying to convince the remaining few regular WoW players to not jump ship and go to FFXIV because they know these players would never come back to the pile of garbage that is currently WoW. Like bald guys doing comb over to try to convince you they have luscious hair, but they're not fooling anyone and it makes them look pathetic. Oh my goodness. I tried both of them to give a fair take. I think they're both good games in their own ways. Yeah.
social media as a whole. So tribalism is defined as the tendency
Tribalism is
of
insane, though.
individuals to
I don't
form
have that anymore, I
strong
think.
emotional attachments and
I used to have
loyalties
it very hard.
to specific online communities, groups, or ideologies. Social media platforms provide spaces for users to interact with others who share similar interests, beliefs, or identities. But in the case of tribalism, the shared interest can often transform into a combined hatred for another, transforming an environment that was once characterized by shared enthusiasm to toxicity. and leading to this us versus them mentality. It's like the old Xbox.
Wait, can I see this is PC versus console? PC wins, chat. There's just no doubt about it. Xbox versus PlayStation. I can't really touch on this because I didn't really own one for like 10 years, 15 years. I don't know what they do anymore. Epic versus WoW, they have their own niche. Prequel, sequel, Marvel versus D. Oh my, this one's huge, man. You know what's even more insane? On Twitter, I like anime, by the way, but there's these anime freaks that say like, Goku's stronger than Luffy. And then they go on a fucking battle for like 5 months trying to defend their anime. It's insane. Dude, these are like 2 different universes, man. What are they even arguing about? It's crazy. Doom versus Star Wars. I thought Star Wars versus Star Trek was a thing. I mean, Star Wars, I think they fell off. I used to love Star Wars. South Park versus Family Guy, WWE versus AEW, GTA versus Saints Row, etc.
It's like the old Xbox versus Nintendo versus PlayStation console.
Chat, what do you like out of these? Well, what do you like the most? I think this one's the best one. Like, this is like a family or friend game you could play on the couch and have fun. These two, you should just have a PC rather than these two. Is my opinion. I think Switch is fun to play with friends. And then you can do like 4 players, right? I guess, can you do Xbox 4-player? I never had an Xbox. PC is master race. I mean, these guys have to like milk their game development. Hey man, can you just release it for PlayStation only? We'll pay you extra. Come on, man. And then they do exclusive only. I hate that type of stuff, man. They had a little drama too with the Helldivers, right? Recently.
Wars. But I would make the argument that it's even more intense with MMOs for a variety of reasons. The first just being time investment, whether it be leveling, raiding, economy, PvP.
Whoa, dude, they updated graphic in RuneScape this much? That looks kind of insane.
MMOs come in many different flavors. They often share one characteristic. They're time consuming. The goal of the MMO developer is to keep the player hooked and forever creating new obstacles and also satisfying ways to overcome these obstacles, whether that be in the form of quests, raiding, PvP content, whatever. And so each of these activities are designed to sink days, weeks, months, years
Savix.
into, all the while the players invest more and more time into them. So a lot of why this tribalism happens has to do with how humans shape their identity. The more time that we tend to invest into things, the more emotions we also invest into that
Partner,
same thing.
hobby, work,
A special
etc.
personal connection is formed as it becomes a daily part of our lives. Some would describe it as a comfort activity. So with how MMOs are structured, with activities resetting daily, raids resetting weekly, and so on, there's this incentive to make them a constant, everyday part of your life. Toxicity, such as with tribalism, often spawns from emotion.
Let the hate flow through you.
And with these MMOs, there's this huge potential for this very heavy emotional investment that comes with time. In addition, we also have money. In the early days, the monetization model for MMOs was as follows. You bought the box and also a subscription to play the game. And every couple of years, if it was popular enough, expansions. This itself already made them much more expensive than any other genre of game, but it made sense. Because content is continuously being added, it does make sense that the game demands this constant flow of income to fund it. But as time has shown, this would prove to be chump change compared to the monetization models of today, such as cash shops selling cosmetics, or even straight up character progression, or battle passes,
Top
or
secret.
all of the above. The genre is far and wide more profitable today than it ever was during its inception. Did you know that StarCraft 2, a game that took hundreds of people years to make and sold millions of copies on launch, was financially outperformed by a $15 store mount in World of Warcraft?
Did that many people bought this? Or are they just saying overall? I saw that amount. I was like, who would buy that, man? It's so ugly. It's so ugly, dude. 15 million players during 15 million players bought that horse? That's insane. That is insane. Yeah. I mean, gaming just has changed too. I think it's like normalized to spend, or it's not normalized. Some people still frown upon it, but a lot of people spend money in games, especially phone games. And I think people are, I was going to say not proud of it, but I think some people are proud of it.
MMOs make an absurd amount of money because people spend an absurd amount of money. And so the investment from the player isn't just time and emotional in nature, it's financial. And this lies at the source of tribalism. All three of these different forms of investments can spiral out of control very easily.
I have a different take on these mounts, by the way. I know like some people like hate on store mounts and whatnot. I personally don't care about it as long as they put in efforts to just normal mounts that can be farmed in game to the level of them adding a mount here, right? If they do a good balance of that, I'm totally fine with it. Like, who cares? I know people are going, oh, this guy said, who cares? Oh, Savix, you hate World of Warcraft. Dude, every game has monetization now, man. And I personally don't ride any of these. I just ride like Mythic mount or like rank 1 mounts, Gladiator mounts, I should say. So this doesn't bother me because I don't spend on it, nor do I care about it. If people want pretty mount, let them have it. And if the company wants to make more funds to impress their leads or whatnot, fuck them, let them, man. If it does good. Zara made a good point that sub price hasn't increased for 20 years because of the store. True, that is good too. That is a good point too. I mean, $15 back then was insane, but in the period of now, I don't think it's that bad. Back then was insane paying monthly, first of all. And yeah, they never changed it. At least in NA. I heard like some other places might have gone up and down. You having that opinion means you hate children. I'm about to just play retail so I can pay. Okay, $15 is now a Big Mac menu in Cali. True. I think you told a story about how it's like 3 coffees to convince your friend. No. Am I going to go into this talk? I was telling my friends in high school that playing WoW, I saved money. Because if I go out, we play basketball, right? We play basketball, do some hoops and whatnot. And then after, we're hungry. So we go to like McDonald's. We spent like $1 menu, $1 chicken burger. Dude, those are massive back then. Now it's nerds. It's like tiny. Anyways, we get some $1 menu, get some water cup and whatnot. Because, you know, we're a little poor. And then if they want to go do other stuff, such as like they want to go watch a movie. Oh my goodness. That's already like $15 right there, bro. It's over. I mean, okay, say it's like $7 and then maybe you want a popcorn. Popcorn? Oh my, $20 for popcorn? It's over, man. Anyways, if you go out one time, you spend a lot of money, right? And these guys want to play all the time. But if you stay home, if you run home after school to play WoW, you pay $15 a month and you have content for 1 month, man. That was a good deal to me. So I would tell my friends, yo, guys, I'm really busy tonight. Go home and I'll play WoW. It was wrath at that time, chat. So you have to understand, this was a very good time, okay? Very good time. I had a blast. And then I convinced all my friends to play too. But I definitely made them play the game in a wrong way. So only like 2 of them still plays out of 7. I did the keybinds for them, but I just boosted them. I took them to Dead Mine, Stockade, like the boost route, and I just got them to max level. So they didn't really learn the game. That is a terrible way to introduce a game to friends, by the way. You should level a new character with them and let them slowly keybind and whatnot. I just boosted them all to max level and I was like, all right, let's do some raids and PvP. And they just started and they have like 20 buttons. They don't know what to do, right? And they all quit. Anyways, back to the video.
Financial, and this lies at the source of tribalism. All three of these different forms of investments can spiral out of control very easily because, aside from time investment, the genre is also largely defined by its addictive nature. The feeling of slowly but surely progressing a character day by day alone is an addictive feeling, and RPG games have always had this appeal to them. But when MMOs were released, the game changed.
It's addictive because you're progressing and you're beating bosses, right? It's like you're working out and you do a PR, you break a record or whatnot. You feel good about that. And then in games, it's really easy to do that. You get to, you know, up yourself a lot, like beat a hard raid or a mage tower challenge, or you get 2100 in arena. It's a good feeling, right?
Single player games had this.
That's why games are, you know,
of an ending credits that the players would eventually reach in an amount of time proportional to the level that they got hooked on them. But now, because content is being continuously added, there is no finish line. There is no end. Collection-based systems are introduced, and items to add to the collections are continuously being sold.
I think there's a finish line for me. I think there is, and I'm almost there too. I just started retail again, and I think I'm almost there. Or I don't know if I'm almost there, but we're getting close. After I get my heroic weapon or the fire act weapon and my trinkets, I'm kind of done, right? And then I just do some mythic keys and I could just relax. I feel like retail WoW isn't a big of a trap as it used to be. Gearing is so much easier, man. So much easier. And maybe Madseason doesn't play retail WoW, so I'm just saying. Like arena gear, so easy to gear too. You just do some battleground, buy some honor gear. You're already mid-eye level when you go into the arena, and boom, you get to just enjoy the game. You get to just PvP in arena if you want to. If you don't want to, you're done. You go play other games, man. It's not big of a trap anymore. They definitely did a lot better with the system. And reputation being account-wide, oh, I love that, man. When I play SOD and I'm grinding rep that I grinded already back in 2004 and 2018 relaunch, and I have to grind that shit on all my character again. Oh, I hate that, man. At least in retail out there, they're working on that now. Whereas account, it's nice. It's very nice.
In a genre of game.
And then you have the choices of if you want to do achievement farming, mount farming, transmog farming. Those are like, you know, the side stuff you could do. I was never really into that. I had friends that were into that would want to collect every single mount. I wasn't really into that. I just wanted to get like 3K in arena. Boom, done. That's all I wanted. And then I go do my other stuff.
Around character progression that also constantly resets character progression.
I think FF too. FF has this way nicer than WoW. Gearing through Savage, so easy. I know there was a guy complaining on Twitter saying FFXIV gearing is awful, but they have it a lot better than WoW. It's super easy to gear in that game. Super easy. And then once you clear Savage and Ultimate, you're done. You just like do what you want to do. ERP, RP, clear again for friends, help them get token and whatnot. I don't think it's that much of a trap anymore. That's why you see FF players saying after you're done, you can take a break or play other games and then you can come back on the new expansion, right?
And because of this, there's no longer a limit to the amount of time, emotion, or money the player can invest into them. And it is in fact in the developer's best interests that they invest more and more and more into their game, of course. MMO developers and publishers love addicts because addiction is a core part of the MMORPG. When you see these online groups behaving extremely toxic to what very well may be well-intentioned critique of a particular game, understand that these people may not even be defending their favorite game, They're defending their choice to invest such a large amount of time, emotion, and finances into them. Over time, even if the quality of the game starts to wane, a person who spent 2 decades of their lives in it isn't going to be as capable of objectivity as they once were, as admitting fault with the game puts into question their decision to invest so much into it. So they may start saying crazy things like, Shadowlands was a great expansion. So what happens is that as these games lose quality, in order to maintain satisfaction, standards must be lowered, but not only for themselves, but also for everyone else within that community. Tribalism often gets very personal very quickly.
What is
But
that?
in the tribalist mind, it became
Shh,
personal
nothing
the
personal,
moment that you
kid.
critiqued the game because they have attached their identity to it. To you, you're critiquing a game, but to them, you're critiquing their decision to invest so much into it. And this isn't just MMOs. It's not just even gaming. It's social media as a whole, whether it be gaming, politics, movie fandom.
And this is IRL too,
whatever.
right?
People just have the natural tendency to attach their identity to things that they enjoy or believe in. Further, they also surround themselves with others who reinforce their decision to do so. By doing so, this positive feedback loop is formed within these communities, and those who deviate from that are immediately ostracized. They are labeled as flip-floppers, enlightened centrists, weak-willed, and so on. In these cases, rationality and patience is often cast aside in favor of blind fervor and towing the line set in front of them at any cost. Social media as a whole is built upon the backs of tribalism and polarization. So, considering how MMOs are all basically different forms of social media, if you think of it, it's no wonder that this tribalism culture is so prevalent. And the sad thing about it is that they only hurt themselves. The MMO industry is largely monopolistic. You have World of Warcraft, Final Fantasy XIV, and then everything else. New MMOs are like fireworks. They're spectacular for a fraction of a second. Although they have these giant launches, for one reason or another, they seem to fizzle out extremely quickly. And out of the thousands released to date, we're left with 2 frontrunners, pretty much. Competition breeds...
MMOs are just hard, man. It's hard. This is with every game, right? Everyone buys a new game, plays it, enjoys it for like a month, and then they move on to different games, right? And then there's people that want to like hold on to it, and they invested a lot of time into it, so they keep playing it. Or people that enjoy MMO. But yeah, MMOs compared to like solo player games, it's hard because they have to just keep going. It's like running a good show that should have ended after 2 seasons. It just keeps going. And then 1 season's they're gonna fuck it up, right?
Frontrunners, pretty much. Competition breeds innovation. MMOs vary in monetization models. Some require...
I feel like
fee,
everyone's standards
others
higher
don't,
too because there's
but
so many good games
what they
now.
all compete for, unequivocally, is your time. There are few out there who have enough time to dedicate to 2 MMOs at once, so the more quality MMOs are out there, the more they have to compete with one another, and the more they have to compete, the higher quality they become, and the less they sacrifice at the altar of the cash shop. So in reality, what they should be doing is cheering each other on, as it puts a fire under the developers to create better experiences for their games. Isn't any coincidence that Dragonflight, which people seem to generally like, came
Plunder was
after
awesome.
it became clear that 14 was providing some serious competition to what used to be the undisputed king.
Competition is great.
But again, this is all based on logic, and tribalists don't operate on logic. As described, they operate on emotion, but the sooner that the community can recognize that together they are strong and put aside their petty differences, the sooner they shed these insecurities and open up and echo critique that may very well improve the thing that they invest so much into. As a result, the better products they get.
I think WoW players are very good at critiquing. If I could say anything, WoW players are very good. They need to be nicer. when I was young, I would complain to the devs and whatnot, but man, the messages the devs get every day on Twitter is nasty. It's insanely nasty, especially arena players. They're so nasty. I think FF players could. I don't know, man. FF players are very nice. If you say anything bad about the game, they will like stone you. Or maybe it got better over the time, but I remember if you made small little critiques, they would blast you.